says. Well done.
Okay.
In that case, good evening. Good evening, members, to the Sandhurst Planning Committee. And it's the 27th of April. And I'm going to start with apologies for absence.
Councillors Butcher, Hyde, Councillor Wilson, Councillor Mrs Williams.
Okay, thank you very much. And moving straight on to any members' interests in the business to be transacted this evening. Speak now or forever. Yes, there we are. No, thank you. Usual rules. If anything crops up during debate, you can declare them. Moving on to item 3, the minutes of the planning committee. Is it your wish that I sign them all? Those in favour?
Yes.
Chairs, did somebody second that? Yes, Michael.
Happy. Yes. Thank you, Chairman.
Must be the 27th. I think I just said that. Thank you. And before moving on to the agenda proper, I'll just repeat what I say at the beginning of each of our meetings, that Sandhurst Town Council is a statutory consultee in the planning process. We are not the deciding body. That is Bracknell Forest Council, who are the local planning authority. But the recommendations that we make have to be taken into account when they are making their decisions. And we use the local plan and all supporting documents to support our evidence in order to ensure that the local planning authority has all the information. Thank you very much. And I'll move straight on to the first item on the agenda, which is PA 2026-0243 9 Whitmore Close, Owlsmore. And this is a garage conversion to habitable space. And we've been onto the planning portal, I'm sure, and seen the details. Any comments?
Yes, because I visited this before coming to the meeting tonight, and I can't see how they can get car 2 and 3 in that space. There was one big car in there tonight. They certainly can't get, unless they got 2 imps or something stupid.
Yeah, well, that's
Is that drawn to scale or?
that's one of the points I wish to raise. Yeah. You've raised a point of concern that I've noted, so thank you.
Yeah, literally visited it on one.
Thank you for doing.
Where's the drop curb on that?
Well,
Yeah.
I've got a feeling the Google Earth stops at the end of the road and
It stops at number 7.
Yeah. I don't think you can get
a shared
alongside it to look back at that point.
You can try it, because that's why I thought, well, I'll go there tonight. I should have taken the photograph. But
No, that's good of you to do that.
what about Google Earth
That's what we're just.
as opposed to Street View?
Well,
This is Google Earth.
this is Google Earth.
So let's just.
So there we are.
Let's just go on.
This is Google Earth, and
Let's try maps, because Earth is not having a
No.
good time with me at the moment.
well, we won't
Let's
see
see.
what we need
Yeah.
to see of maps.
Let's go here and see if I can get anything.
There we are. That's the right one. I tend to just put the postcode in and zoom down. There you go. Location.
Where am I going? That way?
We want number 7. So I was looking at my page. Now go that way. I think it's that way.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry,
Yeah, keep
keep going that way.
No, you're coming out the road.
Oh,
Let's go back in, yeah?
Sorry, yeah, I need to go back. I'm
Keep
just-
going, you go round the corner, that's it.
Still full.
Keep going, keep going.
Going forward. Keep going forward. I don't think it goes any further. Can you see around behind those bins?
Yeah,
That's the head, that building on the left that you can see the window of, that's the
That one.
property. So you have to go around that tree in order to see the parking area.
if you come back a little bit. See that red car? Go closer to that red car.
That fence is,
Yeah,
Can't go
see,
further than that.
yeah, see, you can see the house next to it now.
that's the house next to it, that's the
Yeah, that
application
one,
site.
yeah.
Now, yeah, I tried that earlier.
Yeah.
If you drop out of Street View and just go above and just go into the,
But you see how much that red car is actually on the pavement.
yeah,
Sorry, Dale, so that again, you
Yeah,
want to zoom out?
just come out, yeah. Go up in the air, that's it. If you go, just zoom down. No, it's not. That's it, just go down there. Right, stop. Where your arrow, where the cursor is,
Yeah,
there's a white car. Can you see that?
that.
That is the application site. And what they're saying, if you look at the drawing, is they can put 2 cars tandem, one in front of the other there, with one on the inside.
But I don't think, yeah.
But-
if you put the 2 cars in tandem there, I don't think that's on their space. Does that make sense?
Yes, no, I that was my concern.
Yeah.
That was what I was doing when I did this from the top. I tried to scale.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't look round the corner. I tried to scale. So to be honest, what my assessment is that there's a number of issues, not least of which is parking, but I'd like you will have looked at the plan. And I have to tell you, it's not the plan of the application site.
Oh, brilliant.
And the reason why I say that, the description of the application site is a detached house. This plan shows a party wall with party walls off. Can you see? Even shows flue with a kitchen and a grill and all the, so this is not the appropriate plan.
Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, can you see?
Do you want me to zoom in? I don't know if that makes.
No, that's plenty. If you look at the description where it shows you the garage that's going to be, there's no building, no party wall, dirty, going beyond the garage. So where does that come from? Right. So given the parking concerns, I'm going to recommend refusal on the grounds of
There is a one.
insufficient information to determine the parking requirements, because those are not properly measured
Spaces.
locations and spaces. Right, the building plan is not the right house, as the property at 9 Whitmore Close is a detached house, but the plan shows, as I say, a party wall. So I'm recommending refusal on the grounds of insufficient and inaccurate drawings and limited parking, contrary to Bracknell Forest Local Plan Policy LP 25, and also our planning reasons 2603 and 2716. And 2716 says the proposed conversion of the garage to living accommodation would result in the parking provision for the property falling below the local planning authority's approved standards.
Some,
So how many bedrooms has the house got?
Now, that's what I'm saying. There is insufficient.
Oh, right, okay.
There is
So,
insufficient information.
information, 2603, you said, didn't you?
2603.
Yeah.
And 2716.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
okay, I'm happy. Do you want
So-
me to second that?
Councillor Hill is seconding my proposal. Any further debate, members? All those in favour of refusal as listed, please show that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Right. Moving swiftly on to 2026-0260 4 Rockfield Way.
Well, when I looked at it today, it looked as though the consultation had ended.
I could
was it not this morning? No,
I looked at it this afternoon.
no, it's
Yeah.
live.
Oh, well, I've got, what you've got, the
Same as
parking.
I've got, the highways report.
Yeah, I've got insufficient parking by highways.
and to be honest,
It's very tight, those houses. I used to live in one of those houses, so I know
so you know
personal experience, yeah.
well, we've all seen, and before we saw the highways report, I think we were all troubled by the increases. So I'm going to recommend refusal, and because the Highway Authority objects to the proposal and recommends that it is refused, as it cannot accord with the council's parking standards SPD. And they go on to Rockfield Way cannot accommodate any overspill parking. Therefore, the proposal.
No, it's only 4 houses in that little close.
Yeah, but this is what they say, that reversing out onto Moray Avenue and so forth, and therefore the proposal worsens highway safety on Rockfield Way and Moray Avenue, contrary to local plan policies LP 25, particularly at 4, Little Roman 4, 6, 7, and 9, and LP 62, particularly at I, supported by the NPPF, particularly at paragraphs 115B, 116, and 117. I think that's quite a comprehensive list of.
Yeah, but again, I'm happy to second that because I know exactly that area.
So I think the highways report is persuasive.
I think
It also covers emergency vehicles and refuse vehicles.
it doesn't miss out.
Tiny close.
Yes.
Tiny close.
It doesn't miss out. So that has been proposed by me, seconded by Councillor Hill. Any further comments from members? All those in favour, please show.
To refuse.
That is unanimous. Thank you very much. And I'm now moving on to 2026 0340 14 Hearts Leaf Road.
Oh, it's a side extension.
Yeah.
Side and front extension.
Side and rear. Is it side and front?
Side.
But side
Let me just
Front and side.
that as well. What he said. Where's my notes? This was just working on it.
Ground floor extend to front and side.
I've shuffled all my bits of paper so diligently. And I've lost, right, there we are. So let's get that, yes. Proposed ground floor extensions to front and side. And done. There's no variation to the number of bedrooms, so no variation to parking.
It's an enlargement of the bungalow, effectively.
And it's there are similar developments in the road, etc. So I could find no material reasons or any need for conditions and so forth. So I'm happy to propose that no material comments or
I'm
objections.
happy to second that recommendation. It's a plot that we can can accommodate what I think is quite a modest enlargement
There we are.
on a large plot.
Can't disagree. Can't find any material reasons.
Sleep before.
It's been proposed by myself and seconded by councillor Bossard. All those in favour? So approved, thanks. There we are. Keep doing this standing line. Then we're moving on to planning application 2026 and 0308. And that's a proposed erection of a single-storey rear extension. Now, members will see on the comments that the neighbours at number 53 have written a very detailed objection letter, which commands attention, and duly looked at a number of the points that they raise. But the issue about the size of back gardens, whilst I'm very being a keen gardener
Material
myself,
consideration.
I'm very sympathetic to, does not carry the weight of a material consideration such that refusal could be sustained on it, because that which, and I know since COVID, the amount of garden has become quite a topic, as it is actually mentioned within a number of policies, but is not a material consideration of weight. And the technical element of loss of light, and in the comments from the neighbour, it talks about the 60 to 65 degree light obstructing habitable space. That again in itself is not a sufficiently strong reason to refuse. But if members wish us to ask for the planning officer, case officer, to view and review the possible loss of light issue, we can do that.
No,
But I don't see
it is in Murray Avenue.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem.
Okay, so I'm just, yes,
You know, I've delivered round there. I used to live near there.
Yeah.
Look, if you look on the, you know, like the location plan, it's sort of at the end of the sort of road bit.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy to accept it.
okay, well, I couldn't find, I did look at the objection comments to see if there was anything that could produce sufficient weight
Yes.
for refusal. But I
think yes, we have to look at it purely on planning grounds. And I
That's-
appreciate that they do quote the NPPF.
So,
Right,
but
on
the
it.
third one up.
It's what is appropriate.
But the
One
third one,
highlighted.
yeah, third one up from the bottom.
but yeah, right, that's
With the red
Yeah.
line.
yeah, right alongside. But
That's what I mean by the end of the.
yeah, there we are.
So that's where we lived in Morey Avenue.
There you go.
Well,
So you,
The one on the corner of Ellsmore Road. That's where we lived.
All right.
so I'm afraid I will not be. I'm afraid, given the diligence of the neighbours' objections, but I can find no material reason to move a refusal. So my proposal is no material comments or objections.
Were you also commenting?
College Town, didn't it?
Question of light, asking the.
College Town.
Did we? I know. Did members wish us to put a comment about the light, but that was declined. Okay, that's Mrs. Watson. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. But I do wish all the neighbour comments were as well written.
Yeah.
I found it easy to go and look and test. The last one for tonight, 2026-03-06 is the distribution, Distributed Micro Technology Limited, proposed demolition of the existing garage building, brick wall, pier, gate, and replacement with 2-metre high palisade and sliding door. And we don't need to look at this unless you wish to on Google Earth, because it's quite a simple. If you look at the picture of existing and then what is proposed, it's the picture without the garage and the side gate, etc. And that is all that is being requested. There's no buildings being built, etc. There's a change to a sliding gate as opposed to the hinged one that's there at the moment. And I could find no material reasons to recommend anything other than no material comments or objections.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
To that, right?
Anybody, moving that, does anybody wish to second it?
Yeah.
There we go. I stand. Lovely, that's seconded. Any further comments? Those in favour? All those in favour? That was unanimous too. 2704. There we are. And finally, there is on the agenda the neighbourhood plan update. Well, that's a very quick one because since we submitted it to Bratton Forest, everything's in their hands. They're setting up men to go out and consult with all the people they have to consult with. And we're hoping that we will hear fairly soon which inspectors they're going for, and we should have a 6-week consultation. And we're, touch wood, if it stays on, we should be looking for a referendum in the autumn. And that the other comment before we go is that you will note that Bracknell Forest, the local planning authority, is consulting on quite a few areas of the local plan. And you'll recall the parking SPD that we managed to get a response to as a council. Well, I'm afraid I didn't find out about these recent consultations in time to get it before us, because the closing date was the 24th, and so I couldn't do it. But I'd like members to know that I, as a councillor on Sandhurst, have responded to the three, and the three were the biodiversity and green infrastructure SPD. And apart from having to tell them it's Shepherd Meadows, not Shepherd's Meadow, they all do
West
that.
on it.
Yeah, they always do that. But I love doing that. But that one of my questions is how are the difference between what they're consulting on and what the old one? Because they don't say this is what it used to say. This is what we're proposing it to say. You've got to read the whole thing and do your own comparison in that. But I've asked for that. There was an interesting point they made that with biodiversity, with priority species corridors, would you believe there are 10,555 assets, that's routes, identified as corridors? And I've asked if they wouldn't mind, how can I find out where they are? And is there
Wanna know it.
Sorry?
There's a one in our house, a corridor.
There you are. But the reason why I'm interested in that sort of thing is if we've had a recent application in, you'll recall, down Lower Church Road,
Yeah.
and the hedgerow down Lower Church Road on the left, once you're past, well, just coming up to the Lich Gate and etc. of the church and the parsonage, that hedgerow is quite a substantive hedgerow and is a biodiversity species route. So, and they want to put a road access through it, and that would mean chopping down
Yeah.
quite a length or part of a length. So that's why I've gone back to them to suggest that we
The map.
might want to know where all these assets. But I've sent it off. So Sandhurst is represented, and I've made something. The other one, and this is the interesting one, was the planning obligations SPD. That's your section 106 negotiations. And what I've trying to suggest is that when they talk about planning obligations being negotiated for services that are necessary, one of the things I'd like to know is who decides what's necessary. Who do they, and should they not ask us, the local council and the local, what would you want us to negotiate for, etc., etc. And there's no mention of that. So I've just made a nudge in that, and they talk about developers being able to provide in-kind provision. In other words, not to give money.
Yeah.
Now, there's some assumed in-kind comments in that thing, but it's not defined anywhere. Like what in-kind that means.
Examples are boom, boom, boom.
But yeah, example, for instance,
Yeah.
in-kind could be. So I've asked for stuff like that, and they also try and differentiate between CIL, community infrastructure level, and 106, and what can be negotiated, because section 106 school places are done in that. Technically, CIL can't be used for something that you've already got a contribute and things like that. So I've just gone through and mostly asking questions, but they talk about one or two items, but I've also said examples should include cemetery provision, neighbourhood recycling, EV points, crime and safety systems such as CCTV, because a developer should, if pay for that sort of thing, in my view, etc. But those sort of things aren't mentioned. But I'm thinking if we mention them, they'll negotiate. So that's it. And I talk about sustainable drainage. They talk about sustainable drainage systems provided on relevant new developments, and I've said sustainable drainage should be provided on all new, etc. And community facilities that I've said where existing facilities are judged to be inadequate to meet the needs, who will judge what is inadequate and what's not? And subjective. And I think we, the local residents, stroke councillors, should be approached on that. And the other one was the draft master plan guidance. And as all I responded to that was they'd done it in landscape, and the size of the font, it was worse than Amazon Prime terms and conditions. It was that tiny, etc. So all I've commented on is, if you want people to read this, please
Make it
format and make it. And that's all I've commented on. Members, thank you for your time. Just so that you're aware, we are on the ball, and I do believe there are 2 or 3 others consultations coming out. And if I can get ahead of the game, we can all then make a
Yeah.
proper
Well
response.
done.
Good.
All right,
A lot of work went into
thanks
it, Chair.
everybody.
But-
I call the meeting closed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.